I just have to make a side note that everyone in LA looks at you when you're across the street like you are going to run them over.
No, yeah.
The sun is coming up, are you ready to go? We can take a ride, we can take it slow, yo.
Well, welcome back to the Road to Self-Love. It's your boy Paul Fishman, self-love coach and You Do You activist, here today with Whitney Catalano. I am so honored that you got in the car. You let me use your bathroom before, which is just a blessing. And I'd love for you, because for me, self-love is just owning who you are, stepping into your power and just exclaiming like, this is me, take it or leave it. I'd love for you to just have a self-love moment and share who you are.
I'm Whitney. I am a body image coach. I help people with binge eating. So I'm a registered dietitian, but I don't necessarily like to lead with that because people immediately think that I put them on diets and I help people lose weight, and that's not what I do at all. I help people actually stop dieting and take the power back from their inner bully and learn to love their bodies.
Can we just like start there? Like, what is the inner bully?
I mean, what is it not? It's basically that voice in your head that's like, you're not good enough, you know, it repeats a lot of those same sayings that you heard as a kid or that you heard from your parents or you heard your parents say about themselves. We are not our thoughts, right? Like, we are not the critical thoughts inside of our heads. When it comes to things that we actually kind of believe, like you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you're not pretty, no one's ever gonna love you, if there's even a little bit of us that believes it, then we are much more likely to attach onto that thought and become it.
Right.
When that thought is just as not true as any other thought that you might have throughout the day. It's just a thought.
So in your line of work, which is just like trusting your body, food, positivity, and just like the journey of the relationship between food and yourself, like what are some like really, really intense negative thoughts that you find continue to recur in a lot of people?
It's definitely about being smaller, taking up less space, and not just about body smallness, but small in every sense of it, right? Like, I can't speak up, I can't say this thing, non-confrontational. Every part of my life has to be smaller until I'm smaller, and then I'll deserve to like be bigger.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
That makes so much sense. I got the goosebumps. The
trap there, of course, is that in an effort to make your body smaller in order to actually live your life, you make your life really, 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 really small. And it's really hard to get out of that.
Once you notice that, what do you do next? One
of the things that I'll ask is like, okay, if you were that size in your head that you're expecting yourself to be or that you're trying to accomplish, do you think you would actually, like, would that size actually give you permission to do the thing that you want to do? And I make them tell me, like, what is it that you want to do? 10 out of 10 times they say, oh no, probably not. I still would find out another reason why I shouldn't do it. And I'm like, all right, well, let's start there.
I don't know why I'm like about to cry, but like, yes, you're challenging that limiting belief around, you know, my body is the thing that's holding me back. It's really an excuse, right? What have you seen people accomplish?
I mean, huge things. One of the things I do with all my clients is that I have them like watch back our initial assessment before our last session. And that's really like when it hits home of, oh my God, a lot has changed,
So I want to talk about, you know, the Trust Your Body Project, which is your Instagram handle and really, you know, your primary focus, and you've grown very quickly. Where did the Trust Your Body conversation come from, and what do you think gave you such rapid growth and really resonate with so many people?
I've always been an intuition-driven person. Like, I've always been very intuitive, and I think I just didn't let my intuition drive me for a lot of years when I was so focused on like controlling and, you know, making up for my insecurities and da-da-da-da-da. The Trust Your Body was one of those, you know, in the moment kind of aha moments, I guess. And I just went with it because I was like, that sounds good. I'll change it later if I need to. Like, we'll be fine.
We will be fine.
Yeah, we will be fine. So, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like people resonate with it. One, because I'm super real with what it is. I talk a lot about the like mentality behind things. I talk a lot about just shame and anxiety in general. And that resonates with almost everyone, even if food's not your issue. And then also, I'm very honest with, like, I know I have thin privilege. I know that I'm, you know, kind of inserting myself into this conversation about like body politics and things like that. And I'm gonna do what I can to be like the fiercest ally possible.
Can you explain like what is thin privilege if someone's has never heard that before?
So, I mean, for someone who hasn't heard that before, I'm sure you've heard of white privilege. It's kind of hard to miss, or even just male privilege, right? Like, it's hard to miss that conversation that's happening right now. How is our culture oppressing people in bigger bodies? And, you know, things like you can still be fired for being fat in 48 states. And just for no health conditions or anything, just for existing. And like thinking about airplanes and public transportation and all of the, it's like so inaccessible. And then on top of that, we've got an entire medical system that just makes you feel terrible if you can't lose weight, even though we have absolutely no medical evidence to support the use of dieting to lose weight.
Okay, so I think that this is a perfect time for us to play our first road trip game. I have some cards right here.
Okay.
I would love you to pull one out, and there's just gonna be a question. And we're both gonna answer the question. Oh God.
Are you lying to yourself about anything?
Ooh.
But that's the trap with this question, is that, are you lying to yourself about anything? Like, yes. Well, what are you lying about? Well, that means I have to stop lying about it.
Yeah. Welcome to the breakthrough moment. I'm lying to myself about that if I'm not in control, it's gonna fail.
So I'm on kind of a journey right now of learning how to focus and just learning how to see my brain as powerful and strong, because I know I am emotionally, but when it comes to like getting shit done in my business and actually like doing the things and sitting down and focusing and like all that stuff, I have a lot of stories about what I can and cannot do. So book deal, I'm writing a book about emotional eating.
So cool.
Very excited about that. It is this very interesting gray area conversation around how do we cope, why do we cope, how do we develop new coping mechanisms, and remove the shame from it. And it's something I help my clients with all the time, because everyone's we emotionally eat, but then we feel like deeply ashamed that we've emotionally eaten, and that's the problem. It's the shame.
I can guess that you were experiencing the dieting and all that jazz, but I'd love for you to just like lay it out on the line. Just make yourself a little more relatable, because you have a book deal and like, you know.
I always like to say that I grew up in a bigger body, but I was never marginalized. And I like to make that distinction because I still don't know what it's like to be marginalized for my body, and that's never a story I'm gonna try to tell or like co-op, you know? I think I was like a freshman in high school, maybe 8th grade, when the shame really kicked in. I lost a bunch of weight because, you know, when you're 14, you can put on a whatever calorie diet, you lose weight. That's just what happens. So gained all the weight back, didn't even realize it. Then did Weight Watchers, did Nutrisystem, did all the things. I was like tracking all my food. I went through a stint of like being really addicted to CVS weight loss drugs. I decided to leave my major as a therapist, or to become a therapist, and become a dietitian instead, because I was like, well, if I can just learn everything there is to know about food, I will be fixed and everything will be amazing, and I'll have all the control in the world. And then it all kind of came to a head after college when my dad passed away, because I was like, oh wait, my body doesn't really like matter that fucking much. There's things that matter like way more.
Right.
And that's when I started learning about intuitive eating, and I had to start my business. It all came full circle and hit me like a freaking train. Like,
I'd love to play our next road trip game.
Yeah, let's do
okay. So we're gonna play Fuck, Marry, Kill. Okay. Emotional eating. Dieting. And shame.
Okay, I'm gonna marry emotional eating.
Okay.
Because I love emotional eating. I think it's like great stuff. Do I emotionally eat every time I'm emotional? No. I want to kill dieting just right off the bat.
Yeah.
Just get rid of it. Bye. And then fuck shame, because I feel like I do kind of fuck shame. Like, where I'm in like a friends with benefits situation with shame, where it's like I know I should not be fucking shame this much, and yet they keep coming around.
Love that. And I'd love to know, what does self-love mean to you?
Self-love, I think, means that you've accepted who you are. Like, you stop trying to run away from yourself. You've just kind of almost given in to the fact that you're you and you have nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
And so you start doing things in order to support the you that's here.
I'd love to know, like, where can people find you?
Yeah, so Trust Your Body Project on Instagram. It's my podcast as well. And then WhitneyCatalano.com is where you can find everything. So I have a membership site for people who are healing their relationship with food. I have group coaching. I have one-on-one coaching. I have blogs and stuff on there. So my website's really kind of popping off. If you want my really unfiltered thoughts, Twitter, Whitney Catalano, that's where it all goes down.
It's been such a joy having you on the road. You guys, if you enjoyed this conversation, please make sure to go on and follow Whitney. Tell her I sent you, and do one of her programs. Like, this is, everyone needs support around trusting your body. And thank you so much. And we'll see you next time on the road to self-love. Bye.
Bye.